Hi, Dr. Coons from Endeavor Chiropractic in Springfield, Missouri, and I have another voiceover for you today. Patient comes in with some low back pain and some neck pain. So, for low back pain and hip pain, started with her sacrum. The base or the bottom of the sacrum was off to the right. So when she was laying on her right side, it was closer and aimed towards the floor. So I put my hand on the bottom side or the right side of her sacrum and brought that towards me with that adjustment there. Now here I am refeeling her hips. Her left hip is a little bit stuck, so I have her get back on her side, and then we try adjusting it. It takes a couple attempts to get it. The first one is kind of if I'm going to be doing like a side posture adjustment, and for this patient, she responds really well to side posture compared to drops. So I tend to do a little bit more side posture for her. But it's my preference to adjust my fingertips based on how it was feeling it was out. I guess at school they called that a pull. But wasn't able to get it there, so here I am going to be using my palm to push it, and it went really well there. I tend to avoid doing a push maneuver with like the palm of my hand on side posture for adjusting the SI joint that way, because it tends to be a little bit more aggressive on my wrist, and I want to protect my wrists, my elbows, and my shoulders and stuff like that when I adjust. So, as well as for the patient too, it requires me to roll the patient a lot more to be able to get an angle that isn't going to hurt my wrist. So because of that, it makes people feel a little bit uncomfortable, like they're going to roll off the table, so they tend to tighten up and tense up as well. So that makes just kind of the whole experience of adjusting side posture just like a little bit more difficult. But anyways, we were able to get it to move. This next one here started off with like a push on an L2 for her, and we weren't able to get it on this one, so I had her flip over, edited the video to take out the minute or so it took me to have her flip over, and then change camera angles. So on this one, instead of having my palm on the spinous of the side up, I have my spinous on the side that is down there. And so I'm kind of pushing it towards myself and lifting it up at the same time instead of pushing it down and away. Sometimes that works better. I think technically for what they taught us in school, you're supposed to use your fingertips and do a pull maneuver if you're going to be doing the spinous side down like that. But in my experience, I've seen that the pull maneuvers in the upper lumbars tend to not get enough leverage. And it's a lot more stable just to have my whole hand there, just to kind of like keep her body in the position that I need it. And then after that, we're just going through her lumbars, or sorry, her thoracics, a couple adjustments there. I think it was like a T10, T6, and then a T2 on the right. So tried to get it. It took two times to get it there. Sometimes that happens in the upper thoracics where it's kind of spongy up there, especially like a lot with like people's neck, upper back. There's just like a lot of extra like flexibility that people's spine have through that area. But then we did the ribs. I kind of speed those up because it's not really a lot to look at. But here on the right side of the video, her left side of her body, you can kind of see how that relaxes out after doing ribs like that. And it is something that a lot of people just really like. They find a lot of benefit in that. And I just really enjoy looking at how much that just causes like a lot of relaxation in people, as well as the positive outcomes that patients give me feedback on. And then here for her neck, find a couple spots in her neck here, adjust them, and she was having issues with headaches and a little bit of jaw pain, and that makes me think, a lot more in the upper cervical. And after adjusting a couple spots in her neck, and then I adjust her upper cervical, her C1, with her laying on her side. It was still kind of sore, still kind of a little bit of tension and tightness. So then I made the decision to just give her a little bit of like a pull on her head to kind of distract all of the joints. And I think like people will watch YouTube videos for like a ring dinger or like a Y strap or something like that. So what I was trying to do with her was something similar to that, just like a lot less aggressive, to kind of like decompress the cervical spine. And that'll come up here after we adjust her upper cervical with her on her side. But we're not quite there yet. And I typically don't do that on most people. I think that most people don't need that. I think it is something that can be helpful for some people who have, like headaches, jaw pain, and stuff like that too. It's not a go-to for me for a lot of people because I think it's just like an aggressive maneuver, an aggressive adjustment that can, in some patients, cause more issues than it solves. So like doing it on every patient isn't something that I would recommend, something that I would be not a fan of. I know that some chiropractors are, but I think that it's a tool, and like all tools, there's a time and place for it. So if you're trying to screw a screw into a wall with a hammer, that is rather difficult, and it's not quite the right tool for that, in the same way that if you're trying to use a drill with like a screwdriver bit on it to pound a nail into the wall, that can also be rather difficult as well. So being able to use the correct tool for the right situation, in my opinion, is the best way to look at patient care. And here is just me kind of pulling on her neck, seeing how that feels for her. And then I give a pretty decent tug, and she really enjoyed it, and it helped her out a lot. If you're looking for any care, feel free to reach out. You can call or text the clinic, and I'd love to help you out. Thank you.